Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins fan channel exclusive Skeletor and Screech 2-pack, brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel, of course, as well as the fine folks over at Big and Bad Toy Store, which is where I got mine. I'm unsure if you could still buy this. I kind of think you can, but don't quote me on that. It has been a hot minute since this came out. I think I got it in the middle of summer, and before I got it, I believe it processed quite some time before that. So, you know, that's what piles of loot do to you. You stack a bunch of crap up over time, you ship it a couple months later, and hope that everything you bought is still in stock in case you had a problem with it. So, with all that being said, in the way of accessories, with this 2-pack, there was no mini comic. Some of the deluxe offerings as of late, for example, Mossman, Lady Slither, and the Skeleton Warriors, have all had unique mini comics to themselves. This set is an exception to that. They don't have any mini comic, but then again, neither did the Teela and Zor. But that said, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this originally supposed to be Evil Lyn and Screech, particularly the Marge Simpson, quote-unquote, version of Evil Lyn with the corrected, less crappy-looking knees? What happened to that? I think she had like some metallics. It's like that thing's not getting made now, and that kind of sucks. But that said, I think I do prefer the Skeletor to a figure that comes with one accessory and is a female that just doesn't fill up the box quite as much because, no, it's a female. So in the way of accessories for Skeletor at least, we do get the Havoc Staff and the Power Sword in this kind of burgundy, a dark purpley color. Because this Skeletor is based off artwork from the original vintage Masters of the Universe line. I believe the packaging for the Screech Skeletor 2-pack back in the day, he had like this red coloring going on. So that's why he is how he is. That said, the Havoc Staff, I will tell you, there is a wire or a twist tie right around the neck when you open it. Don't just yank it out like an idiot like me, because you could snap the top off. Luckily, I didn't, and I didn't even stress it. So, just word to the wise, don't be a schmuck. Make sure you cut all the ties. And then as far as Screech goes, he does come with this. Is it a he or a she? Either way, comes with this armor. The same armor we got from Zor. Speaking of which, if I grab a hold of Screech here, we'll pop her off his perch, her perch, whatever. It. How about that? If I call it it, nobody can correct me in the comments like a freaking know-it-all. That said, it does come with the stand, perch. Very tall, but it does sit over the figures, so I guess that's why it's so tall. And then, as far as Screech goes, just press the little button on the back of his leg and his wings will flap. I do have a vintage Screech as well. The beak's a little chipped as far as the paint goes, but it's a nice shape otherwise. And as far as slipping this armor on goes, you just gotta pull it over and just kind of clip it on. It's not really the best armor ever. It kind of sucks, really. But it does sit on his back. Her back, whatever, its back, like so. Make him look like he's got a jet engine attached to him. Her, son of a monkey. That said, here it is with Zor, who I know is probably a female, because it changes into the sorceress, but there's Screech, there's Zor, beak to beak, tail feather to tail feather, wing to wing, armor to armor, talon to talon. That's all the parts I could think of off a bird, at least these two. will say, I think the armor on Zor fits a little better than the armor on Screech, but could just be mine. I don't know. But there you go. Rather uninteresting. I would have rather just gotten an articulated figure like we did with Battle Cat and Panther, but that's just me. So panning the camera down, we're gonna move on over like George Thorogood and take a closer look at the Lord of Destruction without all this excess space here, because we don't need it anymore. Bringing in Skeletor here. Pretty much your standard Origins Skeletor build, I would say. Aside from one thing. There's one knee looking a little funky there. What the heck? That's weird. This has been. Oh. I just realized that. Hold on. Could just be flashing. Ah, his knee's stuck. How about that? I haven't moved before, so I don't know what's going on there. Do I gotta heat this up or something? Let's try the other one. Yeah, they're just tight, so that's interesting. I don't remember that one being stuck like it is. There we go. I think it's just flashing. Yeah, that's what that is. He's got some flashing in there. I might need to pop this off and take care of that. That's all. How about that? Yeah, it's flashing. It's flashing. I gotta take care of that with a mighty kniff. That's what's going on. Oh, never mind. It just fell right off onto the review set. You can see it there. Oh, I dropped it. Oh well. It's not that important, but wiping that off to the side. Live on air. My figure is falling apart. There we go. Now his knee works. Yeah, he just had some flashing up in there. I thought the disc was backwards or something. Okay, moving on. As far as the head sculpt goes, you know, I think it was either Jesse Falcon or Dwight Stahl's all, Mattel can't sculpt a hood with a skull in it or whatever, and I think this looks fine. It looks like it's supposed to. And you get a hinged jaw. Bite me. Yeah, those freaking guys, they can't sculpt anatomy to save their life. Half their figures look like Joe Schmo in cosplay, so I don't want to hear it. That said, as far as the rest of his articulation goes, his head will rotate. He'll look up and down, tilt side to side. Mine, you kind of got to find the sweet spot with the ball peg, but that's okay. It's alright! Yeah, not the end of the world. Shoulders go out, back down, forward and back. He's got a hinge in the elbow with rotation. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. He's got grip hands on both sides. I don't think he came with an alt hand. Unless I either lost mine or it's in a bag somewhere. So I'm not sure if he came with like the open hand. But if he did, I don't have it here. His belt seems a little longer than some of the other Skeletors. I feel like they added a notch to it. I'll have to look at that in a minute. He's got a waist twist. That works fine. Hips kick forward, back, out to the side. Move his arm out of the way. Out to the side. There we go. Back down. He's got a swivel at the knee. Single joint at the knee. Boot cut. Hinge at the foot with a rocker joint. And that's your lot. So, as far as Skeletor goes, I really like him. I think he sells this set more so than Screech, even though we did need him to complete the collection. I think this Skeletor is awesome. I really like him. Arguably one of the best Skeletors in the line next to the 2000X variants, because that's my jam. Sorry, not sorry. But there you go. So I guess, with all that being said, probably going to resituate the camera here. so we can move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Skeletor, the Lord of Destruction, alongside, well, this is going to feel like that Mezco 1/12 Collective Ghost Rider video I did a couple weeks ago. But we also have him alongside good old Skeletor, and good old Skeletor, the Lords of Destruction, because, well, this is the only comparison I can really think of for this review, so here you go. And there they is. We have the 2000X Skeletor from last year, was it? I think it was late last year, but last year nonetheless. As well as the very first Origins Skeletor, who's been chilling on Panther for the longest time now, as Billy Joel says. Rocking the Alfredo head, which came with the Rise of Evil 2-pack, which featured Keldor and Cronus. And I was thinking this new Skeletor would look good atop a flocked Panther, so I'm hoping to get one of those off the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons, because I think he's got a small fleet of those, and as long as I had something decent to trade, I think he would be willing to part with one of those, because the guy always gets a deal. You can't knock him for that. I don't know how he can still buy stuff in the store, because I went to Target with my aunt recently, and they didn't have jack diddly or squat, and they also didn't have any figures either, but, you know, more power to him. But the moral of the story is, you gotta get a deal, man. You gotta get a deal, especially when you're using up gas to find this crap. So, taking these two out of here. Set him there. Set him there. This, of course, would not be one of my videos without good old brother Mandibulith from Mythic Legions. And the infamous 11 Spawn, who, since they're not 5.5 inch scale, are off cam. So, with all that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do realize that I was pretty harsh on the Teela and Zora 2-pack, in my opinion, that just didn't feel like it was worth the, is it $35 to $40 price point? This 2-pack, however, while I still think that Screech could be a lot better than a cheap piece of crap you could probably buy at the dollar store, I think the Skeletor more than makes up for it, even though, yes, we've gotten plenty of Skeletors in the life of the Masters of the Universe Origins line. This one, on top of the colors, offers something a little bit new and different with the head sculpt, having that articulated jaw, having that little bit of extra effort thrown in there. I know that Teela did have a new head sculpt as well, but again, the female figures in this line, they just don't seem to cut it for me. I don't know what it is, but they just don't feel like there's as much put into them as there is on the males. Maybe if they came with more accessories, I'd feel differently, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, I'm afraid. That said, I forgot to mention this during the comparisons segment of this review, but the belt on this Skeletor is, in fact, a little longer than the first release, and possibly the vintage head variant. I don't have that handy. I have it, but I don't have it out. It's in storage to compare it to, but the belt on this new Skeletor is a notch longer than that first release, and again, possibly the vintage head release. So there you go. That's why it stays on him pretty good, right? Yeah, it makes sense now. So with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.